In the last video in this series, we talked about the most important factor to consider when you're coming up with a training routine. And that factor is something we call adherence. In this video, we're going to be looking at the second most important factor for you to consider when you're creating a routine or a program. This series of videos are inspired by Eric Helm's book, Muscle and Strength Training Pyramid. It is an amazing book. If you want to go into details, please get it. I will also link a similar series of videos he did down below. In the book, you're going to discover that the first 4 levels of the pyramid are the most important for muscle growth. The higher you go, the less important they become. Around 80 to 90% of your results are going to come from focusing on the first 4 levels in this pyramid. Today, we are going to be talking about the second level, and that is volume, intensity, and frequency. Let us start with intensity. What is intensity? For you to see muscle growth, you need to introduce mechanical tension to the muscles. But this mechanical tension needs to be enough. For the mechanical tension to be enough, you need to make sure you're putting enough effort. And this is where intensity comes in. So you could define intensity as providing enough mechanical tension to the muscle so that it grows. And there are many ways of measuring intensity. In this video, we are going to be focusing on the most common one. We are going to be using something called RPE. And this is how it works. RPE is used to estimate how many reps you think you could have done in a given set. RPEs are measured from 1 to 10. That means if you do an RPE of 1, you have 9 reps left in the tank. You could have done 9 more reps if you continued lifting. If you do an RPE of 8, it means you have 2 reps left. In other words, if you continued lifting, you could have done 2 more reps before you hit failure. For an example, let us say you're doing sumo deadlifts and you're lifting 100 kg. These 100 kgs, you can only do 7 reps. That means if you do 7 reps, that is the last rep you can do. You're going to hit failure. You cannot continue. It's over. It has taken everything you can provide in that lift. You cannot do anymore. And that means you've hit failure. You cannot continue at 7 reps. If you do 7 reps in this given set, it means you have done an RPE of 10. You have 0 reps left in the tank. If you do 5, it means you have done an RPE of 8, meaning you have only 2 reps left in the tank. If you do 3 reps, it means you've done an RPE of 6 because you have 4 reps left in the tank. If you had pushed yourself, you could have done 4 more reps so that you can hit failure. And that's how we measure intensity. For you to provide enough mechanical tension to the muscles, you need to make sure the intensity is high. And that means you will have to push every set to failure or to near failure. My recommendation for intensity will be an RPE of 7 to 9. That means if you have chosen an amount of weight that you can only do 10 reps, the 10th rep being the last rep you can lift for you to hit failure, then you should do 7 reps, 8 reps, or 9 reps. Another example would be, if you've chosen a weight that you can do only 8 reps, an RPE of 7 would be 5 reps. An RPE of 8 would be 6 reps. An RPE of 9 would be 7 reps. Then an RPE of 10 would be 8 reps. The last one, you cannot do more than that. You've hit failure. Let us go to volume. Volume is simply the amount of the total work you've done. That includes the weight, the reps, and the sets. Considering intensity, volume can also be defined as providing enough mechanical tension to the muscles enough times. Taking the heaviest weight at the gym and doing only 1 rep with the highest intensity is not enough to grow your muscle. You need to do high intensity many times. And that's why reps are important. You cannot do 1 rep with high intensity. You need to do many reps with high intensity. And the accumulation of these reps and sets is what we call volume. With volume, the more you do, the better for muscle growth. But a smart way to do it would be to do as little as possible for you to keep on seeing results. In other words, only increase volume when you're no longer seeing results. For this to make sense, let me give you the best recommendations for volume. It will make sense in a minute. We have the weight that you are lifting. We have the amount of reps that you're doing. Then we have the amount of sets you're doing. So you might be lifting 100 kg. That is the weight. Then you might be doing 6 reps at an RPE of 7 to 9. Then in total, you do 3 sets. Since those 3 sets you've done were at the RPE of 7 to 9, it means they were effective sets. You used a lot of effort. For you to see muscle growth, you need to do 9 to 12 of these effective sets. Let us go to the last one, frequency. Frequency is simply how you're going to arrange your intensity and volume throughout the week. You could say frequency is providing enough mechanical tension, enough number of times, multiple times across the week. Since I have recommended you take between 9 to 12 effective sets per muscle group, someone might take all these sets and put them in the same workout. That would mean he's going to do high intensity, high volume, and low frequency. And this is bad. A smart way would be to distribute this amount of volume across multiple times through the week. Instead of doing 9 sets in one workout, divide these sets into 2 or 3 sessions across the week. And this is why doing something like bro splits, it's dumb. My recommendation for frequency is make sure you train the same muscle group twice or 3 times per week. That was a lot, so let us bring it together. For you to start growing muscle, you need to introduce enough mechanical tension to the muscle intensity. But that is not enough. You need to accumulate enough volume of this mechanical tension. And you do this by providing enough mechanical tension enough times. This is achieved through reps and sets. Volume. For this volume to be practical for you, then it must be spread throughout the week. Instead of training a muscle group only once per week, you can do it twice or 3 times. This way you are able to spread that volume to make it manageable. In other words, high intensity is very important per session. Low volume is important per session. But through frequency, this low volume per session becomes enough volume per week. With the help of frequency, instead of doing 9 sets in one workout, you are able to achieve the same 9 sets across the week. Let us make this one practical. Number 1, you must make sure your workouts are hard. Number 2, even if they are hard, do not do too many of them in a session. Number 3, since you need to do many of them, but you cannot do them in one session, then spread them across the week. And this way, you're going to achieve intensity, you're going to achieve volume, and you're going to use frequency to make it happen.